In today's class, we'll see essay writing. See, essay writing covering in 1 hour is not possible. Why? Because it's not a kind of knowledge you have to gain. It's a skill, basically. It's a so skill cannot be developed in 1 hour. Definitely. If you want to develop any skill, whether you want to develop your batting skill, bowling skill, or any kind of skill, it takes time. It takes time. It requires what? To develop skill, what is the most important thing? Practice. Right? Whether you see Virat Kohli or Ronaldo, they are practicing. That's why they are skilled in their profession. So basically, essay writing, it's not a kind of subject. Basically, it's a writing skill. That means it requires practice. So if you think like attending a class or reading about the essay writing will help, it's just it will give you one structure how to do it. But until and unless you are not doing it, you won't be able to grasp that much skill, basically. So it requires the practice. So this essay writing will be in the different sessions. Today we will be seeing the structure, basic structure. I mean, what are the requirements in an essay? UPSC essay, basically. In the coming session, that would be kind of a workshop we will conduct where we will write one essay. So in that session, we will be doing each area. Like in every essay, there are subparts. Like in an answer, we generally see 3 parts: intro, conclusion, and body. Intro, body, and conclusion. IBC. But essay contains some other parts also. Like there will be the sub part of intro. Intro is not just that anecdote, it will be having the sub parts of intro also. And this body is not the one paragraph, it's the collection of paragraph. Each paragraph is a kind of answer. And then the conclusion also contains 2 parts. Generally, most of the time we also write in the 3 parts also conclusion. Right? So since essay is a long one, it is around 1000 to 1200 words. Earlier I told like they used to give 12 pages, so 100 per pages. But now they are giving it 16 pages. That means they are asking us to write 75 words per page. Why UPSC will waste their paper? They are also concerned about the environment, right? Why they will promote the cutting the trees? Each candidate, 15,000 candidate, each they are providing 4 pages extra. That I was thinking actually in the exam hall. Why UPSC want to waste the pages, basically paper? Definitely they must have thought something. So it was not a small decision also. 4 pages, it may not be the printing error or binding error also. I don't know, at that point of time it was difficult to think. But after thinking about, yesterday also I was thinking why this. So I thought like I was counting it. Basically, they are asking us to write 75 words. That means you have to give proper spacing. What it is trying to say is that you see that if you will see the 10 marker also, what they are providing? They are providing 2 pages. How many words? 150 words. That means each page 75 words. Right? And if you will multiply this with 16, you will get 1200. Right? So that was the thing. That means the body is long one. And that's why it requires a different kind of structuring than what we do for a normal answer. So in today's class, we will see we will see about the structure of essay. Second, within the structure, what are the requirements? See, this requirement have 2 types of requirement. One is your language. See, essay is also a test of kind of language. I mean, language in the sense how you are maintaining the flow of essay. For example, when you are transitioning from one paragraph to another, there should be a linkage, right? So there will be some linking words, linking phrases, linking paragraphs. These are not knowledge again. These are the skill of writing. These are the English, basically. If you are writing in English, if you are writing in Telugu, whatever language, these are not knowledge. This is the skill how you are transitioning from one paragraph to another. That is one requirement of language, requirement of your English. The second would be the requirement of content. This content, here comes where the most focus is given by the students. Most focus in the sense, sir, we need quote, we need some slokas of Sanskrit, we need some anecdotes, we need some name of books, we need some theories. Yes. Right? So that is the content part. But it is not enough. If you have content but you don't have this language skill to transition from one paragraph to another, that means you are not able to create a flow of essay. Then again, every input which you will give, it will feel like everything is indiscrete. It is not holistic. So that's why this part is also very crucial. Many essay when I evaluate, I found this the problem with here. Why? Because people are not having problem at all here content. Why? When they read this GS optional and everything, they are filled with content. Now you are starting your preparation, so it would be difficult to say this. But I'm telling you, once you completed your all syllabus, now you are having abundance of content. Content will not be the problem in essay. Please mark this. Seriously, it won't be a problem. What would be the problem is that how to concise that content in a flow. That would be the problem, and that requires practice. And this is not the something you will know something new. It's just that you know already. You will learn to use that to create an essay. Okay. So before proceeding to the UPSC essay, so these two things we will cover in today's class is structure and what are the key requirements. What kind of content we need, what kind of language we need, and what is the exact structure. What is the flow of essay? We will see that through examples also. But before going to the UPSC essay, let's see what actual essays look. Actual essays means which are more used. Basically, why UPSC is asking you to write essay? What do you think? What they want to test basically? Writing skills. They are testing in GS also now. Why they are testing in essay?
Expression of thought. Expression of thought.
Expression of thought. That's a good point. Any other? Yeah. Any other? Okay. The broad perspective. Exactly. That in GS we cannot bring that because that's more specific. Any other?
Conceptual understanding.
Conceptual understanding can be shown in the GS also, isn't it? Like suppose you are talking about the truth. Let's say they ask like the define truth and give its characteristics. That will also show your conceptual understanding about truth. But when they ask the question like the truth knows no color, are they just testing our conceptual understanding? I mean, one of the definitely they are checking. But is it the only thing which they want to check through the essay? No, definitely not. They want something more. What is that?
Problem solving. Problem solving.
Okay, problem solving. Any other? No. See, if you apply sometimes like apply for let's say some people apply for the foreign universities like Oxford or some other foreign universities. You know what they ask? Because when I was working in Pradhan, few of my colleagues who were experienced, they wanted to go abroad and study. Our organization used to provide that opportunity. So they used to apply for that. So what they demand, one thing they demand is the writing essay. And if you go to these kind of universities, they won't ask you to write small answers. They ask you to write essays, big essays. Second thing they demand is that definitely what leadership you have provided, and third they requires the reference. But essay is one very important part of it, right? And why for civil servant? Because civil servants are the people who have to write reports, who have to submit. You must have seen that the Yojana magazine is there, or many times they have to publish reports in their websites, who have to review finally. Suppose you are working in a department of Ministry of Environment, and then you have to provide submit a report, publish an annual report in your website. Who have the final responsibility to review and check that? The head of the department. And who will be the head of department? These IAS officers, civil servants. So basically, if a civil servant is not aware about the proper what should be the structure, flow and everything, how he will be able to guide that? Or she will be able to guide that, right? So essay writing is important because of that practical utility, and also it helps what you said, like it helps you to express freely, because here you have to write 2 essays only, and you will be having the proper time, so you will be able to think more in depth as well as in the breadth, which you won't get in the GS. In GS is kind of, I mean, it's kind of sprint, while the essay you can call it as a marathon where slowly you can explore, right? Or so in the GS answer, we initial 4 or 5 question you will be able to think, but after that when the time is ticking, you won't be able to think. That's why we say like the revise so many times, so that you will reproduce quickly. So that's a different case, we will discuss that in answer writing, but here you get time, you will be able to think, you will be able to express. So that's why essay writing is important. And many times civil servants have to write articles also to show their work, right? So today I will show you what actually the essay looks when you will write. I'll show you some of my essay which are published, how we write the actual essays. I mean, when you are working in the field, so that you will get like see, this is one of the essay, like the 1 home 100 women. I was working there, so that time I wrote this essay, and it was published in this platform. See, this is also small, around 1200 words essay, but it is based on the practical thing. But what you will get from here, see the introduction, how it is being introduced. Here there is one quote, and you know that generally when we write the essays, now we start with what? Most common is a quote or anecdote. What quote we write? We write quote of Vivekananda or Gandhiji or some JF Kennedy or some great leader. But when you write practical essays, you have to write the experience from the field. Here one community person, her name is Preeti, I think, yes, Preeti, who is the president of Mahila Gram Sangathan Katakanda. He is saying, like, I will raise your building to the ground, threaten the sarpanch. This is our home made with sweat of 100 women. We won't let you touch it. Basically what it is, the story is, small story is, there are some few women, around 100 women, they have formed SHGs. Now they were demanding one building so that they can have their regular meeting in that building. So they demanded from Sarpanch, they demanded from the Jila Panchayat, Janpad Panchayat, many places they demanded, but it could not fulfill after many years. So they decided that we will build our own building. So they started making bricks. They started collected their own money. They worked together and they built their home. And then there was tussle between the Sarpanch, because he thought like how they can build. These are just women. How can they start like this? So they threatened them that I will bring the JCB and remove it. So they stood against it. So that was the story basically. Now you have to narrate it. So tomorrow when you will go to the field, you have to narrate such kind of stories also, right? So that requires, and see, the introduction should be something which creates a kind of sensation in the mind of the reader, so that the reader will read your essay with the excitement. And that kind of quote, that is brought by the quotes, that can be brought by the anecdotes, and that is the first part, that is the introduction of any essay, is the very important. So I give the most thinking on this introduction, because that is the something which will give the first impression to your essay. Now the question is, what kind of introduction we can write? As you know, the first part of structure is the introduction. What kind of introduction we can write? Most common is anecdote. Most common is anecdotes. Why I am saying most common it is, because you can create anecdote very easily. It's not like that you have to mug up anything. For example, let's see with examples what kind of anecdotes we can create. Tell me which year paper you want to discuss. Any year. This year, 25 only. Okay. Now don't tell me, sir, this essay, because I can't do every essay. That much expert I'm not. Yeah, I have written this essay. This essay you have selected yesterday. This is easy. Second essay I can write. Third essay is difficult. Thought finds a world and creates one also. I mean, we can write, but it would be difficult to expand 1200 words. Right? This third one. Now, out of this, see the first essay how I started. Now here, truth knows no color. I'm not claiming here that would be the perfect one. You can write the better, but I'm just sharing what I have written. See, the question is truth knows no color. Before starting the introduction, see what you have to do. The first thing is that first step comes when the paper will come in your hand. 5 minutes before you will get the paper. The most important thing is the choosing the essay. That is the most tough, because once you have chosen that essay, then there is no coming back. Because if you started the essay brainstorming and then you realize that I'm not getting, then it will start creating pressure and it will impact your both essays. So choosing essay is very important. Now let's understand how to choose the essay. Now how I did. Now I read all the 4 essays first. I eliminated this first. Right? I eliminated this first. Second, I had truth knows no color. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Here I had very good quote. Very good quote. One Chinese philosopher has said, India have conquered China for 2000 years without even sending a single soldier. You know that because of what we have conquered China? What was the factor which led India to influence the China very much? What was the factor? Huh? 2000 years, that is in history I'm talking, not now. Whose statement is it? Huh? Ashoka. Basically, it was not the war of literal sense. It was a war of persuasion. It was the war of peace. Right? Bheri Ghosa means it's a war which is fought generally between the army. It was not that war. It was the Buddhism. It was the principles of Buddhism, peace, non-violence, through which we influenced China. You know the travelers, right? Who are those travelers? Tell me the names of travelers. Fayan is there, then Hen Sang is there, and then third one, Ait Singh, right? These 3 philosophers who traveled to India, who learned about Buddhism, went to China and influenced the people. So that was the statement said by the philosopher that India had conquered China for over 2000 years without even sending a single soldier. And that is basically the crux of the second. Isn't it? Like the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. We have not fought China, but we subdued them with the peace, the message of peace. Right? But the point is, I was getting so excited to write this. But when I thought deeper, I was not getting much, the 2 ways I was getting confused between 2 things. One is that, is it just the persuasion, or is it subdued the enemy without fighting, means other kind of persuasion? I was not able to make myself very sure. So that's why I was confused between these 2. And I knew this, but I didn't want to write because I knew that most of the people are going to write this one. So I wanted to write, my strategy was, one, in first section I will write little different essay, and second section I will write the easy essay which most of the people will write, so that I can balance my time And what happens, you know, when you write the first essay, you write very well. But the second essay, since there is deadlock, now the time is ticking and it is approaching towards 12 o'clock, pressure builds. And when the pressure builds, you write anything, right? So mistakes can happen. So these are little difficult topics. So I decided in the second essay, I will not choose this difficult one. I'll choose simple one, so that even if there is pressure, I will be able to write. And I have practiced many essays, this and this. These two essays I have practiced. So when I called Venkatesh Sarlu sir, like the after essay, he was sure that I must have written the first one, because I had already that philosophical thing is strong. He thought like that I will be write the 8th one, because just before exam, the last text I wrote the same essay, exact this essay. But why I didn't write? Because contentment is natural wealth, luxury is artificial poverty. But that was little different. So I was fearing that if I write this, my flow can go towards the same what I had written. So I decided not to write this. I chose this. So the point is, choosing the essay is important, and how you choose, first you have to eliminate which you won't write. Okay. Second factor, what you have to do is that you have to have clear understanding about that topic. Okay, I have understood this topic properly. Like the first topic I understood, so I decided. And third factor is the content. You need to have content. 1200 words you have to write. You can't stop in between, right? So you need to have that content. So content is the next part. Now, when you will brainstorm this, here you have to understand the truth. So in what ways you can say the truth? What is truth basically? And then knows no color. What do you understand by the color? What different ways you can think of the color? That will create your dimension, the breadth, what he was talking, like you need to think in a broad way. So when you are choosing the essay, there only in the question paper only, you just mark them, like the what kind of thing, like he said yesterday, here color means race, but it's not just race. Color is just the indication. It means more than color, that is a race. It can also be understood as, these are indicative words. These are, don't take them as literal words. If you will take them as literal word, you will write whole essay on just color, race, and race. That would not be the perfect, that won't be the broad one. So the topics you are having here, these are indicative. For example, let's talk about the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Now, subdue the enemy without fighting, that means here enemy, if you are thinking just like a country, it's not. The enemy can be your own enemy which is within you. That may be somebody is having alcoholism problem, that's the enemy for him. It's not like fighting means like you're killing yourself by doing suicide. It's fighting by doing meditation, learning new things, right? So you're getting what I'm trying to say here. Don't take the words in just literal way. If you will take that, first of all, your essay will be unidimensional. Second, you won't be able to get much content. So here, when you say the subdue the enemy can be anyone. Here, let's talk about the enemy. Here, enemy can be within enemy. Gandhiji have always taught the biggest enemy is inside us, right? Our thoughts, evil thoughts. So that can also be the enemy. And then enemy can be within our country also. Enemy can be outside our country also. So there can be the different types of enemies. So my point here is, when you are brainstorming, here only what you understand by enemy, write it in the question paper only. Second, without fighting. What is without fighting means? What can you understand by without fighting when it is saying without fighting? Means what? What things will come when you say without fighting? That means how you will win war? Peace. How peace? Peace is a thing. Definitely, the objective of war is also what? Peace, right? Basically, what Russia is claiming or the Israel is claiming, we are fighting Hamas to bring what? Peace. Trump said we bombed Iran to bring what? Peace. Basically, the objective of war is also peace. So peace, the ultimate goal is peace, or defeat the other person, the aggression, defeat the aggression to bring the peace. This peace can be achieved through what? Without fighting means what? How you will do that? How Ashoka did?
Some reforms.
Huh?
Some reforms.
Reforms, like
Social evils.
yes, removing the social evils. Social evils. This is also a kind of enemy. That means you are removing what? Discrimination, isn't it? Like if there is discrimination, then it can be removed when you are bringing good governance. Currently Nepal fighting, right? You know the Nepal. How can you use Nepal example here? What the youth are fighting against? What? Corruption. So corruption is enemy here. So, but the means they have adopted, is it right? They are using what? Violence. Is it right? No. So basically, if you are fighting the corruption is the enemy. You are fighting by using the violence. The essay is talking about don't use the violence, fight the corruption with peaceful means. What was done by India against corruption in 2013? Anna Hazare movement. Then this Lokpal came. So here you are bringing two examples. One is Nepal, where the violence is being used to defeat the enemy of corruption. Another example, India in 2013, India against corruption, a peaceful movement of youth who led to the constitutional and the legal reforms which led to the defeat of corruption. You see the both two sides. Now when I am discussing this, I am thinking why I didn't write that. I am getting good example now, but okay, fine. That so the point is, you have to think without fighting means then what ways? Education. Is it a way to fight? What Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon which can change the world. Proved by Malala Yousafzai. One pen, there is one quote, there is very powerful quote. One pen, one person, one classroom can change the whole world. Like that, some quote is there. So basically, education can be used. Moral development, you can use your ethics knowledge here. So when you are exploring the essay, when you are choosing the topic, what you have to do is that you have to think the words in different dimensions. That is my point. Okay, the more you are able to generate the dimension, you will be able to write your essay in more broad way. Similarly, come to here, thought finds a world and creates one also. Basically, here the theme is thought. What thought we are generating, right? I mean, what kind of thought we are having. Now, the thought can be two major types of thought. Either you are having the positive thought, negative thought. Now, when you are seeing the positive thought, that thought can be the optimistic thought, pessimistic thought. That thought can be progressive thought. That can be the backward looking thought. That thought can be the socially valuable, like the socially moral thought. That can be the selfish thought. Right? Same thought can be seen from multiple dimensions, and each dimension you have to explore in the essay. Right? So when you do the brainstorming, the initial brainstorming to choose the essay, you have to do this small exercise. In what different dimension you are able to think the essay. That's very important. Otherwise, your essay is going to be the unidimensional. Right? So that is the best lessons are learned through bitter experiences. Best lessons. Here whenever you are seeing this kind of thing, now here two words are there. See, first, best lessons learned, bitter experience. Now, how I will do? First, what I mean by the lessons. Best lessons. These lessons can be learned by individual, can be learned by society, can be learned by family, can be learned by the country, can be learned by the international community. Best lesson can be learned by anyone. And this best lesson can be anything. It can be the personal lesson, it can be the lesson related to the country, anything. Then learning means what words I can use here. Learning means knowing or the realization, awareness. Use those words so that you won't use the learn everywhere. Basically, what synonyms you can use against the learned word? Think in those all dimensions, like the awareness, realization, reflection. These all things. Whatever words you can link with the learned, you have to use it. Then comes the bitter experience. Now, the bitter experience can be anything. It can be bitter experience from the point of view of individual, like the mental stress. Why I'm using mental stress? Because this is highly in the news. Suicides are rising in the students. Farmers are committing suicides. Mental health has grown from just around 5% in 1990s to around 12% currently, as per the National Family Health Survey. So that shows mental health is going on. Now within the country, we have the environmental bitterness, climate change, pollution. Out of the top 10 polluted country, around 3-4 are in our country. Bitterness. Then think about society, what bitterness we are having. Communalism is there, riots are there, gender inequality is there, violence against transgenders are there, many bitterness are there. Choose anyone, anything there from society point of view. Then come to the economic point of view. You have the bitterness, unemployment, huge bitterness. Does unemployment taste sweet or it tastes bitter? Bitter. So bitter experience. Now you tell me what more dimension you can bring here. And international, that is international trade, tariffs, bitter experience for the international trade. Very good point. Any other? What other bitterness we are facing in the world today? Okay, we got trade. What is the most bitter thing you observe in the newspaper every day? I see everyone reads newspaper that you're taking, but what is the most bitter thing comes in your mind when you see the newspaper?
Election.
Okay, election, political, right? Excellent. That's also a bitter thing for us. Very good point. Like the success of democracy depends on the election, free and fair election, and free and fair election depends on election commission. If there are allegations, whether it is false or right, we don't know. We cannot claim here, right? But allegations are also, if such severe allegations are there, that create some kind of trust issue among the people. Political dimension you can bring. Any other? Accident, road accident, railway accidents. The example of Ahmedabad you can write. That plane crash, that's a huge bitterness we have experienced. Corruption is one of the bitter experience. You see, like within 6 months or 1 year, 6 bridges collapse in Bihar. What that shows? Corruption is there. That means they are not using the proper material. Bitterness. Then other bitterness.
Climatic effects.
Climatic. Okay, the disasters basically. Disaster. Yes. See the Punjab example. How disaster is causing the damages there. The other thing, conflicts. That's bitter. When you see the poverty and the starvation which is happening in Palestine, regions like Palestine, that's not bitterness. Poverty. Mahatma Gandhi said the poverty is the worst form of violence. That's a bitter experience. Today also we are experiencing poverty in the country. Malnutrition. If you see the children is dying because of the food, what would be the more bitter than that? In this age of technology, if a child is dying just because they are not able to get the proper food, can't be any more bitter than that, right? So the point is, you know these things. I know I have not said anything which you don't know. So the first task what you have to do from this analysis, you are clear that the most relatable topic is this one. And when you are getting this, the question is, now sir, I have told that I chose this topic because I thought that the many people will be choosing this. Should we also think like that? That may be the question. So the answer is C. Never compromise on your understanding of essay and the content. If you think that you have the content for this topic as well as you have clearly understood the topic, then only risk this. But always give priority to this. Many times people say that don't write essays like which are there in education, women, because these are very common. But that's not true. Same essay you can write so innovatively or creatively that you can fetch very good marks or the more marks than those who are writing bad. So when you are taking the decision, please take decision based on your understanding of the topic. You should clearly understand. That's the most important thing. If you are writing the essay in some other direction, you are not going to get marks. So don't risk that. So first is the understanding and then second is the content. These two factors, based on that you will choose it. Is it making sense? Are you getting what I'm trying to say here? Right? So this is the first exercise we do when we enter the exam hall, when we get the question paper. First thing, we try to get the dimensions, right? Like this. Now the second step is, first you have chosen based on your analysis, you have chosen the topic. Then comes the brainstorming, the structuring of your structure of your essay. So the structuring, how I do is that the first, definitely what I used to do is that 12 pages are there. That means how many points I need, that I used to count. How many points I need? See, the first two pages I used to leave for the intro. 2 pages intro. That contains different section, I'll tell you. Then I will keep 1 page for conclusion. How many left? 9 pages. Right? 9 pages are there. These 9 pages I have to write the body. And generally, what structure we follow, or if you see the structures in each page, if it is let's see properly. See, each question should contain like we write like this. The question paper will be having like this. So the first will be, we will be writing 1 paragraph here. It will be around this much, and the second paragraph will be here, like this. So the point is, in 1 page you are going to write 2 paragraphs. That means how many paragraphs you need to write 9 pages? 18 paragraphs. 18 para. And remember, each para should contain 1 idea. That means when you are writing this particular essay, bitter experience, 1 paragraph should contain the bitter experience of corruption, mental stress. Another paragraph will contain the related to the tariff. 1 will be related to economy. 1 will be related to the quality. Each paragraph will be containing the 1 idea, 1 argument you are making. Okay, so like that means you need to have 18 arguments. 18 arguments. Can you generate 18 dimension, polity, economy, like that? It's not possible. There are not 18 dimensions. Here comes the next step, is the first you have to after you have chosen the essay, you have to divide your essay in broad sense. For example, truth knows no color. Here you have to divide this topic in broad 4-5 broad dimensions. Like, what argument I can generate from this truth knows no color. Forget about intro and conclusion now. Let's talk about the structuring, because we are doing the brainstorming now. The second step which we follow in the essay. What dimension we can generate? First, definitely what I will write here. Let's talk about the intro. In intro, I will start with anecdote, 1 paragraph. Here, then I have to contextualize this. Contextualize it, that I will tell you how to do that. The second thing what I do is that why this essay is relevant. Why it is relevant. Second paragraph. Why it is relevant means UPSC have asked this topic. How I relate this topic, why I consider this topic is very relevant considering the present context. Why it is relevant, what I wrote, truth knows no color. Today there is discrimination based on the race, based on the caste, based on the country. We have seen our people from the US came with handcuffs, chain in their legs. Have you seen those videos? They deported our people from the US to India. Right? Based on what? Nationality. Then the Rohingya issue. You must have heard Rohingya, right? Rohingya issue is going on, or what happening in Palestine and other countries. Those are all issues are there. So the point is, I in one paragraph I tell the examiner, yes, this is very relevant in today's context. So that is the relevancy of the essay. Next two paragraph, because I have to write 2 pages. How many pages? 2 pages for the intro. That means I need 4 paragraphs. 1 paragraph anecdote, 1 paragraph why it is relevant. Then in 2 pages, what I talk about is the truth. What I understand by truth. What I understand by truth. What is truth? Similarly, if you are writing this type, supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. What are the keywords here? War is one of the art of war. That is, a war is one keyword. Another, enemy. Who can be the enemy? And without fighting means persuasion, basically. Persuasion. Persuasion means influencing other without coercion. Coercion or without forceful way. It the peaceful way. So I have to describe them in the intro part only, what I understand with them. It need not be very technical. It need not be academic. I have to tell the examiner, I have to tell the reader that in this essay with war means I mean this. In this essay which you are going to read, enemy I do not consider just our neighboring state or any other country. I consider enemy which is present inside me, enemy which is causing corruption, enemy which is causing the fight between different different people. I am thinking enemy not just one way but other way. That I have to describe in the intro part only. Then only the examiner will understand, oh, according to this essay, he or she is not thinking enemy just from one dimension. So that I have to tell the examiner in the intro part. And then the without fighting means what I mean. I mean without fighting means use of persuasion, use of non-weaponry, non-violence means to achieve or to subdue the enemy. What Mahatma Gandhi did, he used the non-violence to defeat Britishers. That is basically the crux. So I am thinking without fighting means the use of non-violence, persuasive techniques. So that I'm in these 2 paragraphs, that is the thing which I am going to explain here. What is the truth? The broad, and this should be the broadest. These explanations should be the broad definition, and that should be your own. It can be other, you can substantiate that point, but write your own words. Like, what do you understand by truth? Truth is something which is based on some universal principle. That's the truth, isn't it? For example, equality is the universal principle, right? You can't ask like the here only men are allowed to study UPSC, women are not allowed. Is it truth? No, it is based on the inequality, so it cannot be truth. Truth is when the equality, the treatment of everyone is based on the equality. What Hitler did was not the truth, unfair. That because that was based on discrimination, based on the race. Sorry. Okay, so That is truth. So you have to describe that in the intro part. Then comes the body. So what I'm doing, I'm just structuring. See, I'm not writing now, structuring. This you have to do the rough work page they will be giving behind the essay, that booklet. There you have to do this. Okay, first I will write anecdote. For example, I will use the my experiment with truth by who wrote? Gandhiji. So he has written this book, My Experiment with Truth. Now the question is, sir, have you read this? No, I have not read. But I know the crux, right? You also can guess the crux, right? What would be here? Basically, you know about the Gandhiji. So the most possibility that he must have talked here about the what actually truth is. It's different phases of truth, right? So you should read. But if you have not read also, you can use, for example, I use a lot of time that Kalam's book is there, na? Wings of Fire is there, Ignited Minds is there, and Dr. Ajay Sir, if you are writing in international relations, India Way, there is one book. Prelims questions also came on 2000, I think in 2024 or 23, India Way, written by Dr. Ajay Sir. He talked a lot about the how India is having its strategic autonomy. You can use his book name. So in body, what I have to do now, so this is the introduction. I will write this much only, I won't explain, and don't try to make very good handwriting here. You have to do that fast, just the indication, right? You are going to write them. Then why it is important, relevant, I will write some just a 1 2 3 5 like the Rohingya. Just I will give a few example, discrimination like the Manipur issue or something. I will give just a 1 or 2 example there. And then truth. Here I will talk about the universal values. Universal values. Right? Then this is the intro part. 4 paragraphs. Not just the anecdote. It should comprise these all things. These 3 things should be there. There can be other things also, but these 3 things should be there. Right? That creates your intro. Now the body part has to be divided into different parts. First is you have to establish the argument. When it is saying truth knows no color, you have to establish it. How you will establish it? Establishment means, yes, you have to say that, yes, I agree with this. You have to substantiate. Truth knows no color. How you justify any statement? What is the basis, first basis? This is a philosophical topic. For example, in if any physics, chemistry or the scientific, we justify by proving that formula or something. Here, how do you justify this? What is the basis? How do we justify any argument? Huh? No. I mean, how do you establish or justify any argument? If I say like the best lessons are learned through bitter experience, I will ask you to prove it. How you will prove it? Using what? Examples? You need what? Examples. You need what? Examples. Then you need data. You need what? 2 only. Any other thing? How you will justify? Like the truth knows no color. Because I am saying no, you are saying no, because you are not. We are not the experts who said, and you have to believe. Gandhiji is expert, so whatever he will see, we have to believe that, and that is the virtue ethics, right? Anything said or done by a virtuous person is considered as truth or the virtuous, ethical. That you have not covered in ethics, but that is the thing. So we cannot say. So who should say that this is correct? Someone who is virtuous, someone who is regarded as a good person, or you can say ethical person. So basically you need what? You need philosophers who have said this. You need great leaders who have said this. You need books where it is written. Now which philosopher you can use? Who is the most important philosopher you can use? Now philosopher, don't think like the Aristotle, not required. Indian philosopher. Think like the Upanishads. That is also the book of philosophy more than religion. In philosophy, do you think in the Upanishad it is written about the, it has written about the truth? Yes or no? What is the best philosophy? You hear a lot about the philosophical background of this quote. Can you recall the philosophical? Yes, Satyamev Jayate. That is the truth always wins. That means color cannot defeat the truth. Truth does not see the color. That means Satya, that is truth, has to prevail beyond color. That's philosophy, and it's nothing you have to read. That's our motto of this country. That's written there in the Ashoka emblem, right? It is the awareness. That's what yesterday also I was telling. I told you that here in my class of answer writing or the essay, I'm not going to tell you something new which you don't know. My role is to enable you what you already know to use to write an essay or answer. Satyamev Jayate is nothing that you don't know. Buddhism, what Buddhism has taught? Satya, say the truth. Am I wrong? No. What Jainism has told? Satya. Gandhiji told Satya, truth, non-violence. Those are the philosophies. Now, why we should bring the foreign philosophy? Yeah, we have to bring the John Rawls theory of justice. We can bring here, but I am not bringing that because you have not covered ethics. The day you will cover the ethics, I'll tell you, because I'm not here to teach you. I mean, you should write this, you should write this. No, I'm here to build a skill that you learn to use your knowledge. That is my role. See, currently you may not be knowing about John Rawls, but if you know that, yes, if this kind of content I know, I can use it here. Tomorrow, when you will learn about the Machiavelli or the John Rawls or the Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, anyone, if you find that, you will be able to use. So our focus should be on building that learning, that skill, that awareness, that this kind of content can be used here. Until you are not practicing that, until you are not aware that, yes, I can use this here, you won't be able to use it, despite knowing that knowledge. Satyamev Jayate is nothing that you don't know. It is something you know. You must be knowing any movie also related to the truth. And if you're not knowing, you give the example of that Jai Bhim movie came now, or some Telugu movie also, you can use it. Popular Telugu movie which talked about the truth, established the truth on the real life issues. Right? So it's about the awareness. Philosophy is, don't think like the philosophy means something very big. Talk about the religion, talk about the, not only the Hinduism, but also the every religion. Whether it is Islam, whether it is Hinduism, whether it is Christianity, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, every religion talks about truth. You can give example here. So the first thing you have to start, if you're writing the philosophical essay, you have to start with the philosophy. Give the philosophical justification. Truth knows no color. It is well established in our philosophical backgrounds. For instance, in these Upanishads, Mundak Upanishad, right? Mundak Upanishad. In Mundak Upanishad, it is said that Satyamev Jayate, that means truth always prevails. It is highlighting that truth is above any kind of color. That means it does not know the color. It has to be based on the universal principle of justice, fairness, and the equality. Right? So that is that way you justified. Then go to one Western philosopher. Indian philosophy is done. Let's go to the Western philosopher. One, John Rawls. Done. Next, what is the most important source of philosophy of India? What is the most important source of philosophy of India? For whole India. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita is one of the source. But what do you think every Indian connects with one philosophy, one document which connects every Indian? Constitution of India. Constitution of India is not just law. It's basically not a law. It's a moral document of this country. Do Indian Constitution talks about this philosophy? Yes or no? Yes. If you talk about preamble says that we have to give the opportunity to everyone, irrespective of race. Word is there or not? Race word, whether you see the article 14, 15, race word is there. You cannot discriminate based on race. That means you have to establish the law based on what? Truth, not color. It is said in the constitution. So justify this argument based on the constitution. Preamble, use the articles there. You have to use it. Right? So the 3 paragraph is done. First is the Indian philosophy, second Western philosophy, third is Indian constitution. And I'm telling you, not just here. Tell me, supreme art of war is subdue the enemy without fighting. Philosophy, Buddhism, Ashoka's philosophy. Right? You can give example of Mahabharata, how the Krishna went to negotiate first before starting the Mahabharata. Right? He went, right, as a mediator between the Pandavas and Kauravas. Write that story so that he can persuade instead of that shows that importance of defeating the enemy without fighting. That shows the spirit. However, it was not achieved, but still it was the initiative, right? So that is the philosophy. Here in Constitution, which article you can use? Article 51. What it talks about? Article 51. International peace. Isn't it you can use here? Use it, right? Like we have to establish peace, then what? Our then thought finds a world and creates one also. Thoughts. Can you what is the philosophical background of thoughts, thinking? You may not have covered. If you will talk about the Indian philosophy, can you link any philosophy of Indian philosophy with respect to thoughts? What are the 3 ratnas of Jainism? What is 3 ratnas? Right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Excellent. It's nothing you know. Tell me how the faith, knowledge, and conduct are. This faith, isn't it a kind of thought? How do you generate the faith inside you? By thinking, right? Yes, I believe on this. Faith doesn't mean the religious faith. Suppose you have faith on me. That means you have the good thought about me. You don't have faith on me. That means you have negative thought about me. Faith is nothing but a kind of thought. You can use 3 ratna of Jainism. Not a new philosophy for you. Then thought, the freedom of thought and expression. Where it is written? Which article? What is the article in Constitution which talks about the freedom, liberty of thought and expression? Both preamble and Article 19(1)(a). Freedom of speech and expression. How can you speak without having the thought? And thought and expression is written in the preamble. Use it. What is the next? Best lessons are learned through bitter experiences. Now it is talking about the perseverance in life. It is talking about the keep fighting, like the even after you are failing, you should learn from that bitter experiences. Right? You can bring here also philosophies. What kind of philosophy? That you have to think. And in next class of essay, we will discuss because we got just 1 hour class. And I told in essay writing 1 hour is not possible. It's 250 mark. Complete one subject basically. So I hope I am making some sense. You are getting some idea how to. Still, we have not entered how to write. We are just in the phase of brainstorming. But one thing I'm sure, I'm hoping that you must have got is that essay is not about knowing new things. It's about using what we already know. Right? Same way you have to think for your answers. Many questions you will get. I can discuss every question here which you can write with the current knowledge you are having. I can tell you solving the prelims question with your current knowledge. Even if you have not attended the class, you can solve some. I cannot claim here like every question you can solve. That's not possible. But there are questions which you can solve without even the specific knowledge about it using your common sense. The fact is what we have to learn, that's the skill I'm talking about again and again. You need to learn how to use what you already know to solve one MCQ, to write one answer, and to write an essay. That is the thing you have to develop. Any doubt you can ask. We will be having other classes also for essay, then we will continue from here.